Today is Monday and so many newspapers are focusing on what happened over the weekend, and in some of those newspapers we are told that Bala has rejected the appointment or Frundi's appointment to head the cabinet or shadow cabinet justice ministry. Bala, in a correspondence written recently sent to the National Secretariat of the Social Democratic Front Party, the human rights defender or lawyer, however, thanked Frundi for honoring him while declining to take up that position, as we shall be telling you more. And equally in Akwaya Emmanuel division of the Southwest region, we are told over 50 persons, women including children, have been killed by suspected separatist fighters. That was during an onslaught or attack which took place in that communities or some communities in that division recently. We shall tell you more in this edition of the program. Bomotonguina Gwladys is here. Let's find out what she gathered for us in the French language newspapers. Bonjour, Gwladys.
Bonjour, Lasha.
Happy week start.
Bon début de semaine.
We are sorry for the late start of the program because it is raining in the nation's political or economic capital, and sometimes man makes a machine turns into man.
Alors bonjour à vous et merci de nous retrouver une fois de plus pour cette autre édition de Debrief, votre émission bilingue de revue de presse sur My Media Prime Télévision. Alors ce matin, nous allons débuter avec la presse francophone, le journal Intégration. Le journal Intégration, lui, qui nous parle en grand titre des érosions des énergies, des réserves de change. Le journal nous parle de la BEAC qui dénonce donc Congelcam. Les détails sont donc en page 6 et 7 du journal L'Intégration ce matin. Nous poursuivons, mesdames, messieurs, ce matin avec le journal L'Œil du Sahel. L'Œil du Sahel, lui, qui nous parle en grand titre de l'extrême nord Cameroun. 3 nouvelles chefferies de premier degré annoncées dans cette partie du pays. Les détails sont donc en page 5 de L'Œil du Sahel ce matin. À sa page 3, le journal nous parle de Mohamedou Mustafa, apôtre de la paix dans le maillot Bagno. Nous restons dans le même journal L'Œil du Sahel qui nous parle en page 9. Il nous révèle que pour le Hajj 2022, 1000 pèlerins s'envolent donc pour l'Arabie Saoudite. Nous restons dans le même journal L'Œil du Sahel à sa page 6. Le journal nous parle de la lutte contre Boko Haram, les mesures du MINDEF dans le maillot Tianaga. Dans le même journal L'Œil du Sahel à sa page 9, le journal nous parle d'insécurité. 2 soldats de la FMM tués donc par Boko Haram à l'extrême nord Cameroun. Nous clôturons, mesdames, messieurs, avec le journal Mutation Quotidien, le journal Mutation Quotidien qui nous parle, lui, en grand titre de la vie chère au Cameroun. Le point d'étranglement, en effet, la flambée des prix se généralise et devient interminable dans tous les secteurs d'activité au Cameroun. Le Mincommerce lance des ventes directes spéciales à Yaoundé pour quelque efficacité. Les détails sont donc en page 7 du journal Mutation Quotidien ce matin. À sa page 11, le journal nous parle de surpopulation carcérale dans les prisons du Cameroun. En effet, Laurent Esso s'explique face à ce sujet. Toujours en page 11, le journal Mutation Quotidien nous parle d'Ayos, le maire qui booste donc les projets des jeunes dans cette partie du pays. Mesdames, messieurs, voilà tout pour vos titres en langue française. Place à la découverte des titres en langue anglaise avec toi, Lasha Kinsley.
Thank you, Gwladys. Bomotonguina. This morning, let's start with Cameroon Insider newspaper. Cameroon Insider this morning is focusing on the hit that the Minister of Justice went through at the National Assembly. The paper tells us that MPs tackled Justice Minister over a prison congestion in the country during a plenary session dedicated to the oral questions. Last Friday, June 24, 2022, at the National Assembly, lawmakers raised concerns about the current sluggish justice dispensation system, which has led to the overcrowding in majority prisons across the country. The Minister of Justice disclosed that vast reforms have been initiated to fast-track judicial processes and cut the huge number of pre-trial detainees in the country. More details on page 2 of this edition of Cameroon Insider newspaper. After friendly against France, Lionesses learned tough lessons. 1 week to the start of the Women's African Cup of Nations, the Lionesses lost 4-0 to France last Saturday in Beauvais, that is in France. However, the girls of Coach Gabriel and Zobo will correct some errors, as the paper tells us, as they continue to prepare for their first outing next Saturday. That's next Saturday against Zambia in Casablanca. We leave Cameroon Insider. We're taking you to the Guardian Post. The Guardian Post newspaper this morning is focusing on what is happening at the level of the Social Democratic Front Party, the SDF. SDF, according to the paper, thrown out of party headquarters over 2 years on paid rent. And the Social Democratic Front Party, the SDF, is currently without a national secretariat. The frontline opposition political party was recently thrown out of its headquarters over 2 years on paid rent. The party's national secretariat, it should be said, was situated adjacent to the Bamenda Congress Hall in the northwest region of the country. The entire amount owed the now former landlord, the newspaper gathered, was CFA 4.4 billion or 4.4 million francs CFA, representing 24 months of unpaid rent. And still in the Guardian Post newspaper, after visiting authorities in Yaoundé, Logon Anshari, Sultan's spokesman, says upbeat about return of peace in that division. You can read more in this edition of this newspaper, talking about sultans of that division who were on a mission in Yaoundé to explain their problems to some authorities in Yaoundé. On to the Post. The Post newspaper is also interested in the Frundi. According to the paper, Frundi outsmarted coup plotters with unexpected cabinet shake-up. Frundi, who unexpectedly came up with this cabinet reshufflement that dismissed some party or top party officials. And the paper tells us more, that you can read more on what Frundi did in this edition of the Set newspaper, talking about some people who were trying to overthrow Frundi, and Frundi outsmarted them. As the Post newspaper puts it, on to this other headline that has to do with Agbobala. Agbobala turns down SDF appointment. The president of the Center for Human Rights and Democracy in Africa, Barrister Felix Abonkongwu, popularly known as Agbobala, has turned down his appointment to head the Social Democratic Front's Shadow Justice Ministry. This is coming 10 days after the national chairman of the party, Nijon Frundi, reshuffled the cabinet and appointed Bala to head the shadow cabinet, that's Justice Ministry. You can read more in this edition of the newspaper, talking about the correspondence that was addressed to the National Secretariat of the Social Democratic Front Party, SDF, of which the Post newspaper got hold of a copy. We end with the Median. The Median newspaper is also talking about Agbobala that has rejected Frundi's ministerial offer. You can read more on the reasons why Agbobala rejected Frundi's appointment only in this edition of the Median newspaper. Gwladys, we are back to continue with our discussions this morning. And we are awaiting the arrival of Alex Ndive. Alex Ndive, who is a politician and a former, let's put it that way, former militant of the MRC political party. He will be joining us anytime soon. But meanwhile, let's meet Maitre Alex Ndive, who is our permanent consultant on the program. He's joining us this morning on the line to London as usual. Maitre Alex, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Lasha, and good morning, Gwladys. I like your new look, your hairstyle, and good morning to your entire team and the beautiful of Cameroon. And I want to tell Alex Ndive he's an ex-member of something. He should join my party.
Okay. Maitre Alex, fortunately, unfortunately, for the past 3 days, we have been talking only SDF. This time around, today we are still going to talk SDF. It appears the party you said is dead has finally resurrected.
Resurrected. So the party now is in heaven, not on earth. Yes, that if you resurrect, you are in heaven, not on earth. So thank God that they have resurrected and they are somewhere in heaven. And I saw something that said coup plotter. We should be very careful when we use words like coup.
No, Maitre, if you read the Post newspaper, you will see what the Post is talking about. SDF again relieving another hijack attempt like the Muhammad Suleiman Christophe December 1998 attempt. It's not the first time. The paper is very clear.
What I will tell you, when you meet, I told you before, Professor Ndive, my uncle. I've met Maitre Chappie. He's a very intelligent person. I know about Honorable Nietzsche. He's an intelligent person too. So when we talk about hijack, when people go and sit, they say they have breached Article 18.5 of their constitution or bylaws. They are not hijacking. They are saying that, Mr. Fundi, you don't even understand the laws of your own party and you want to run a country. That's what they are saying. They are not coup plotters. The rules are rules. It's not about individual. I keep on saying that we should not be doing politics of personality.
But the highest authority or organ of the party that has to hold a meeting is the NEC. Why would people hold meeting on behalf of the NEC?
People have to hold meeting when a chairman of a party will appoint people contrary to the rules of their party. If you have a chairman who doesn't understand the rules of the party, people have to come together. It's a party. They have to have their own meeting too and say, look, these are the laws of our party. I told you before, Mr. Fundi have not called a convention for some time now. And if you don't call for a convention, where do you expect people to talk? It's in your meeting. It's your yearly
meeting. No, but they have been meeting now. They always have their meeting. Their meeting.
The point is, behind the scene, I know a lot of people don't understand this. Sometimes we say, some of us, we know certain things behind the scene. Whether we like it or not, I have evidence and I'll prove it one day. The SDF is part of CPDM for a long time now. People don't know that. People sit there, they think it's SDF. There was SDF until they started sacking all the people who were really SDF militant. They are part of the government. And I watched a program yesterday. They were defending Fundi CPDM militant. At the end of the day, we don't have opposition. It saddens me that people go and continue to look for their own individual things, how they have to gain about their own personal life. It's shocking that if you look at individuals in SDF, they have enriched themselves. They have a lot of money. They are very rich, but they cannot pay rent for their own secretarial office. 8 years, they cannot have an office. 30 years, they cannot build their own office. Yes, they can rent, but they cannot pay rent. But we have accounts in the Western world of SDF militant money put there by government. I will not call names here because you know those things. It's very important. If you want to serve your country, you have to fight for the betterment of the people, not for as an individual. So it's a disgrace that we don't care.
Maitre Alex, what do you make of your colleague Bala, who has rejected the appointment of Fundi?
You just made it that the appointment was 10 days ago. Let me tell you something. Everybody was consulted by Fundi before the appointment and they accepted the appointment. Fundi is not a fool. Fundi will not appoint you without asking your
So why is Bala coming out? Why is Bala coming out now to say he has been busy? He was in the US. He came back. He was busy with the bar council election.
He jumped the ship before he was pushed. He did not qualify. As Maitre Chappie will tell you, as Honorable Nietzsche will tell you, you have to spend 5 years in SDF before they can appoint you. So he jumped the ship before he was.
So are you saying that he has not been militating behind closed door?
It's not militating. There is no closed door. Militating is you having membership party card and paying your dues. So there's nothing. To be a supporter is another thing, and for you to be a SDF member is another thing. I'm not an SDF member, I keep on telling you, but I've always been there from day one.
So is there no article in the SDF, constitution, or let's put it there like that, whatever, that gives Fundi that exclusive right to appoint non-members of the parties at the level of...
The point I want to make clear on this program, Frundi, if he somewhere is listening to me, Frundi consulted everybody, and everybody that was appointed accepted the post before Frundi nominated them. So,
Maître, vous voulez nous dire qu'aujourd'hui, Maître Agobala est en train de jouer double casquette?
I'm not sure, but I'm talking. I can guarantee, and if I'm lying, Frundi should come here and say that Maitre Alex Ndive is lying. Frundi consulted everybody before he appointed them. So some people are jumping the ship before they were pushed. You saw the 27 members of SDF, they were there. They talk about breaching the laws of the party. What is important is SDF rules and regulation.
So are you you're saying that Bala is saving his image? He is trying to save his image?
I wouldn't say that. I'll keep on saying that John Frundi consult everybody in advance before they appointed them. That's my point. I don't know about Bala. I haven't spoken to him, so I don't know. But I'll tell you, Frundi consulted everybody and they accepted the position. And if they appoint you, you don't need to take 10 days. Before somebody appoints you, like we came for the national dialogue, they sent a letter. They told all of us, they invited us, we accepted before they gave us the invitation. So Frundi cannot appoint you without informing you. So we should stop doing those type of things. We have to be honest and be truthful to our people. It's very important.
Don't you think that probably since Abu Bala apparently in the past, and he's still right now, is the voice of Anglophones, he's one of those who initiated what we are having today in the country, and Frundi wanted to use him to to revamp the party or put the party in the spot.
I don't see Agbala like the voice of the Anglophone. I see him like a lawyer who was fighting for Owada, their rights. I know people who have been fighting like Fongodi Dinka, they are the voices of Anglophones. I know other people for the last 30 years. So he was speaking for the lawyers, and they were arrested, lawyers were beaten, and we were protesting because we were not treating our lawyers like animal, like a fly upon the sheet. So he's speaking for the lawyer, he's not speaking for an Anglophone. I presume Anglophone politicians should speak for Anglophones. And one thing that I don't like it in Cameroon is that when you're a trade union leader, you're a trade union leader. If you want to be a politician, be politician. We mix civil servant, we mix everything. That's why we are confused in Cameroon. If you want to do politics, do politics. If you want to be a trade union leader, be a trade union leader. We shouldn't be mixing these things. They are different. If you want to be a civil servant, be a civil servant. In Cameroon, we just mix everything. We don't know the difference between a politician and a civil servant, a trade union. Those things are different things. And we have to make our people to understand. When you want to be a politician, be a politician.
À vous écouter, Maître, on a l'impression que Maître Agobala n'est pas un politicien, ou il est... Vous pensez qu'il est donc quoi?
He's a trade union leader, and now he runs a human rights organization. You see, I'm not sure if he's a politician. Taking into consideration, he can be a politician any day, anytime when he wants. But when you're running a trade union organization, a trade union, you're fighting for the interests and rights of workers. That's your job. That's what he has been doing. And if you want to join a political party, you have to distinguish those things from there, because it's very important. When we talk about checks and balances in Cameroon, we are calling for independence of the magistracy or the judiciary in Cameroon. We should know we cannot mix all those things. When we mix those things, we confuse everything. A civil servant is a civil servant. A trade union leader is a trade union leader. We should distinguish those things. Like in Cameroon, if you're a civil servant and you know you owe your duty, your work, your job on the president of the republic, so you will be scared. You cannot be impartial, because you know if you do something, they will sack you. Like in the UK, civil servants are civil servants. They have nothing to do with politics. They are impartial. They are working for the state. If you bring a new leader, they will still work for you. So it's very important that we distinguish this type of thing.
Yeah, Maitre, we stay with Frundi. Let's talk about this exclusive interview with the Herald Tribune newspaper. Frundi said in that newspaper that he is not afraid of any external audit, and he's calling on us, warning or reminding senators and MPs that they will soon be audited. and those who are clamoring or want accounts of presidential election as well as legislative and municipal elections of 2020 accounts or reports to be presented Frundi said they never contributed even a dime. So why should they be asking for reports when they didn't contribute anything to assist in those elections?
Frundi is really speaking out like a street politician now. At the end of the day, if they have a right to audit the money, you don't need to contribute for them to audit money.
No, he's saying that the party officials who are saying so didn't contribute anything. Those who met in Buda, they won reports on what they didn't take part in.
He said that Maitre Nietzsche, Professor Ndivakale, Maitre Chapi, they did not contribute. I don't believe that for 1 second. Mr. Frundi should not be running a political party as if it's a personal property. Those are the things that we are facing in Cameroon. Why should he be afraid about auditing? At the end of the day, people say they want to audit something. It should be a routine. Why should he say, I'm not afraid or whatsoever? So he shouldn't be saying such a thing, because at the end of the day, it is a party. They need to know how the monies are being followed or whatsoever. And it's a disgrace to me. I'll go back. You're talking about auditing. I don't see how SDF, they are not able to pay rent. And following that newspaper, I also read that Frundi said they can use one of his property, but they have to pay him money. Yes, he has the right that they should pay him money. But at the end of the day, under his leadership, if he cannot control a small secretariat, how do you hope to run a country? Those things expose people in their life if you're fit for something. If you cannot run your family, if you cannot run a small political party, you cannot run a country. That exposes Frundi. And at the end of the day, Frundi should understand that SDF is a political party. People have differences inside political party. You have the left, you have the right, you have the center. Frundi should respect people in the party. It's not about him alone. We should stop these things that we want to patronize people and try to make as if a party belongs to us. When a party have people with different opinion, the party is healthy. If Frundi would have left people like Siga, Asanga, Songani, Barrister, Benmuna, all those people there, they can join together and bring idea and move the party forward. But when you make the party come, you say that they say l'État c'est moi, SDF is about me. Frundi should stop those things. They should evolve. People have differences. It's normal. I have differences with the CPDM. I have differences with SDF. It doesn't mean I hate them. It's just ideology. We should grow up and learn to know that in our country, people debate, people have differences of opinion. It's not about hating somebody. I come here, I talk about Frundi, I don't support what he's doing, but it doesn't mean I hate him. We should grow up and be mature. That's politics. That's democracy.
Okay, Maitre, let me take you to Cameroon Insider before Gwladys asks you the question she's about to ask you. Cameroon Insider is telling us this morning that Justice Minister had it hot with MPs at the National Assembly. That was on Friday. The issue of overcrowded prison due to the slow judicial process in the country was raised by MPs.
Yeah, I know they are saying MPs. I would have loved to hear that the MP who is around that area in Kondenge raise that matter, because it is in that MP's.
No, there are overcrowded prisons across the country. Most of the prisons are overcrowded. You come to New Belt Central Prison in Douala, it's crowded. Go to Boya Central Prison, crowded. Most of the prisons,
all prisons in Cameroon are crowded.
I'm not surprised. I know about that, but when we take into consideration that ever since I was born, like you said, Boya Prison, Kondenge is the same prison. The population have increased, and these people don't really bother. One thing I will make clear on this your program: prisoners have rights. It doesn't mean you have been condemned, you have committed a crime. It doesn't mean you don't have a right. They have rights, and the government should know that and make it clear to people that because you are a criminal doesn't mean you lost your right as a human being. I've been there, I've been to Kondenge, I've seen what is going there, and they are really overcrowded. Sometimes we think that because you have committed a crime, you have no right. Those people are human beings. They still remain people of that country, and we should respect them. And the difference is in Kondenge, you have different section of prison, you have VIP. Why should you be having VIP, then other people are suffering? They have something they call, is it Kosovo, inside Kondenge. That's the worst part inside there. You shouldn't treat people that way. When they want to punish you, they put you in Kosovo, inside Kondenge. Yeah, which is very bad. Yes, they have it there. I've been there. I've met those people.
And even people who are on pre-trial detention.
We should understand that if you have not been found guilty, they don't have to keep. It's your liberty.
But why should people, Maitre, let me understand something. To the best of my knowledge, there are certain cases that if it is not murder or whatever, you are not supposed to be detained. If they know your residence and know everything about your job site and whatever, you are not supposed to be detained. But in Cameroon, most often, like the MPs, they said people are detained for minor crimes for years.
Yeah, it is disappointing. I felt before, even my senior brother Ed Ginger was talking about this. People will steal chicken, they go and lock them there for waiting trial for more than 5 years. That is wrong. Sometimes prison is about reforming people. People have done something, you reform them. You don't take people and keep them.
No, we are talking about people who have been kept there. After some time, they come and tell them that you are not guilty of the crimes you were being accused of, when they have spent 5 years, 6 years in prison.
That is very important. That we are on the same platform, which if you put somebody there for about 5 years, if you lock somebody, they call it unlawful detention. That's where I'll ask my brothers who are lawyers in Cameroon, they should sue the government, because you cannot keep somebody there for 5 years. They call it unlawful detention. So after that, the government should be able to compensate those people, because you kept somebody there for 5 years for nothing. 5 years imprisonment in the UK is 10 years. When they give you 10 years, you spend 5 years. So you're giving somebody 10 years imprisonment for nothing. I know a lot of people like Ngalin Felix, he's still waiting one of the trial, they're still waiting to try him on other issue.
For 6 years.
Them there? Why you're taking people's liberty for no reason? But I understand in Cameroon, there are people who have their prisoners. There are people who, some prisoners are in prison because they call them the governor of Southwest, this is my prisoner. Atanganji have his own prisoner. So people have scores to settle.
Maitre, you cannot say that. Do you have proofs? You cannot say this on my platform. Do you have proofs?
I have proof. Listen, I'll tell you the truth. In Cameroon, even me, I'm here. There are people who can hate you, they want to settle score. It has been happening, except you don't know. They'll go and report you, whether it's a gendarme or what, they arrest you when you haven't even done anything. So I know the governor of Southwest, he has got his own prisoner. Atanganji have got his own prisoner. If you look at those prisoners, all of them, they have their tax. I know those things. But it saddens me that they don't allow an independent judiciary to try people. If you don't like somebody, you put them behind bars. It is wrong. It's people's liberty. People have differences in a country. We cannot agree on everything in our country. We have differences, but we have to learn to live with those differences. People don't know about this. I can argue with people, but I still love you. You are a human being. We cannot agree, but in Cameroon, we don't see those things. When you come and talk about somebody will be annoyed. We cannot think.
Maitre, you know that treason is punishable when it comes to things that have to do with states.
My problem, who is the state? The people are the state. When there is a case, they say what? The people
of Cameroon.
If there's a trial in Cameroon, it's the people. That person is against for the people. A state is not a fiction. A state is not a government. Mr. Bias Bouguer said Vivre Ensemble. But you see the Vivre Ensemble. Vivre Ensemble is about equality. Make everybody to feel at home. Make everybody to feel that this is my country. Make everybody to feel that one day I can become Director General of CITV. But when you make a country in a certain way, then you say one and indivisible. One and indivisible means make people to feel at home. It's very important. We don't do that in our country.
So how should this problem be solved, Maitre Alex? This problem of congestion of prisons in Cameroon.
The problem could be solved by allowing people to deal with their own matter. I heard you talk about one of the sultan from North is coming to Yaoundé to solve problem. No, they should sit in the North and solve their problem. They don't need to come to Yaoundé. Allow people to run themselves. We don't want a nanny state that one person will be telling all of us what to do. You cannot come to Yaoundé to solve my problem. Allow people, wherever you are, we are mature enough to solve our problem. Allow people, leave this centralization. I see every day in our newspaper or presidential degree, they quote laws. You put those degrees. You don't need to do those things. You have to spell it in a plain language that everybody will understand. When you put this presidential degree number, you are trying to scare the public. You don't need to do that. I trained in this country as a lawyer. I was told, when you talk to your client, speak in plain language. When a doctor talks in plain language, every day presidential degree number, this, why are you doing that? People don't understand those type of things. Just explain in plain English or French. So we frighten people, we make the state to look as if it's a big monster that we have to follow in. Instead, you're there as a servant to control our people. You're a servant, you're privileged to be in a position to work for our people. It's very important that we understand those things, rather than trying to impose on our people.
Ok, maître, on va aller voir le journal Mutation ce matin. Le journal Mutation nous parle, lui, de la flambée des prix sur le marché camerounais. Les produits, presque tout augmente dans le marché camerounais. Et le ministre du Commerce a quand même ouvert un petit marché pour la ville de Yaoundé. Et qu'advient-il des autres villes du Cameroun? Est-ce que les autres villes du Cameroun sont abandonnées et délaissées pour compte?
Yeah, well, I don't blame. If we go on what Mr. Bia, Yaoundé is breeding, the Cameroon is okay. So if we go according to the policy of Mr. Bia, Yaoundé is Cameroon. And it's very sad that prices are going up. But again, we have land, we have resources, we can do farming. When I was a young boy, I was growing up, I used to plant my own lettuce, I used to plant pepper, all those things. People should try to do farming too. It doesn't matter whether you're a civil servant, to try to make sure that people can have enough. We have land, we are privileged in Cameroon. We are privileged, but a lot of people, I know the price is up. We love Western things. We have our own local things. In this Western world, they keep on saying organic food. Organic food is what we have in Africa. It's what we have there, but we keep on wanting to buy certain things which we don't need. We should cut our coat according to our size. We should rely on our own farming. We are lucky to have good soil in our country, and we plant our own thing. When I see we complain, oh, there's a problem in Ukraine, that's why we are suffering in Africa. Come on. Before this war, how many Cameroonians know the name Ukraine? So we should make sure we do our... We shouldn't be always looking for excuses or whatsoever. It saddens...
Mais maître, on a l'impression que presque tout au Cameroun sortait de l'Ukraine.
Oui, that's what they are saying. To me, I'm surprised. Most people did not know about Ukraine before this thing. But now, we always look for excuse. All through my life, under the presidency of President Paul Biya, crise économique mondiale, we always look for excuses. When we have land, we have resources to do our own thing. When you go back to what this issue about, is it Glencoe? How can a foreign company come and be selling your commodities? Why can we Cameroonians? Why can a Cameroonian not own a company like Glencoe?
Mais maître, nous avons les Chinois qui ont des plantations d'oignons ici au Cameroun. Hein?
Ils fabriquent même déjà le tapioca.
Ils fabriquent le tapioca au Cameroun.
The way they made us in Cameroon, they made us, we are like robots. When you go to school, either you have to go to ENAM, École Normale Supérieure, Ayen Nasla. So they have stereotyped us. They don't know farming can pay a lot. My uncle was a medical doctor. He had a hospital in Cameroon, a private hospital. But he was still a farmer. He used to go to farm, make his own oil, do his own thing. So we should look at farming as a gift. If you plant how many yams or whatsoever, you can earn, as a farmer, you can earn more money than a government worker. So, but the way we were brought up, we don't know about agriculture. I was in Cameroon, instead of learning fishing in Cameroon, you learn fishing in Japan. So the way they made us in Cameroon, we don't believe in ourselves. We don't believe in our society. We don't believe that we can do our own things. And we rely too much. We have to change that discomfiture when we think that we are not capable of doing certain things in Cameroon. I was in Avenue Kennedy. I saw people from the way they treat our people. These Chinese people or whatever, they employ you, they pay you 15,000 a month. We can do those things. We don't need people to come and take our economic. There's something called economic power. If you allow foreigners to take over your economic
Mais est-ce que ce n'est pas l'administration camerounaise qui facilite que ces étrangers-là prennent possession du commerce au Cameroun?
It is possible because we don't love our own. When I saw the president of FIFA, he was in Gongo. I saw him, he's a multi-millionaire. He was so simple. He was a simple person. He was okay, the way he was talking to people, my brothers and this. There's that thing in life is simplicity. When position of government, you should respect your people. You should love them. You are there to serve them. You are there to make their life to be better. It's very important that we know that. We shouldn't make as if because I'm in a position I'm very powerful. It's not important. Life is common, it's easier. I've seen people in Cameroon who used to have powerful positions, but they were so simple and common. It's very important we know that, and we should not, if we love that country. You see a country like Libya. Libya used to be people of my color, but some foreigners, they came, the Gaddafi's people, they took over the country. So if we keep on making mistakes, I was there, I met somebody in Kradat, in Cité des Nations, Mini-Cité, when I was in Cameroon last time. He was there, he's a foreigner, he's running a good snack there. I spoke with him my days in Guakele, we shared some good memories. You see, if people can come from another country and come and run your economy, what are you doing? So government should encourage people to make sure they can do business. It's not about nsah, it's not about nsah.
So are you not also seeing that Cameroonians are lazy? Some Cameroonians, a majority of them are lazy.
I don't think they are lazy. The point is, when you make people, you educate them, you indoctrinate them to think in a certain way. Everybody wants to know, I'm doing this to go to nsah from day one. I'm doing this to go to ENS. I'm doing this to go to EMEA. It's the way, the educational system. That's why I'm calling on autonomous, independent university. The government should not be involved. Leave it for academics to decide on what is happening. In the UK, government have nothing to do with the university. They are independent. But in Cameroon, it's famdongo. Everything is the one telling people to do. Education is a place where you debate. I'll make an example. Like Agwabala asked a question. He was sacked from Goya University. No, you don't sack. University is a controversial place that people have to debate all sorts of things there. It's very important. In Oxford University in the UK, you bring people like former Manchester United manager Alex Ferguson, you bring Mike Tyson, you bring Michael Jackson. People have to explain. Academic is not just because you went to school. People who are talented in other things, you should invite them in the university to come and debate. It is very important. So we should know that education, like Michael Jackson comes and talk to students in Oxford Union. Mike Tyson, you know Mike Tyson, you come there, bring people there. Education is about debate, about opinion. But the government wants to control everybody, how people think, how people do things. It is wrong. We cannot develop if you don't allow people to think, allow people to argue, debate, and have difference of opinion. You cannot sack somebody because he asks a question. In the university, people have to have independent mind and think differently. It is very important.
Okay, Maitre, thank you so much for coming this morning. Thank you to televiewers of My Media Prime Television. That's it for today, and hopefully we will be with you tomorrow for yet another edition of the program, The Second for the Week. The program was produced for us by Akeba Desmond. We were Gwladys Bomotonguina and myself, Lasha Kingsley. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you very much, and have a